Cigarette packets come with a warning. Smoking causes cancer. Alcohol bottle says drinking is injurious to health. But the screens our children use every day, the phones, tablets, TVs, they don't come with any warning. What if your child's phone came with a warning label too? Screens cause mood swings, poor focus and emotional withdrawal. Excessive watching is injurious to childhood. Would we still hand it over so casually? That's what we are going to talk about today. How screens affect children, why behavior changes so suddenly, and what we as parents can realistically do at home. Let me tell you about a child I see very often. He's 6 years old, smart, curious, active, but the moment his video ends, he doesn't want the screen to be switched off. If the parent tries to close it, there is crying, shouting, sometimes complete refusal. Parents tell me he was not like this before. If you are seeing the same thing at home, you'll understand exactly what I'm saying. Most of us worry about the screen affecting the eyes, so we feel TV is safer than the phone. But the bigger impact is not on the eyes, it's on the brain. The brain controls learning, emotions and behavior. Whenever a child watches fast, exciting content, the brain releases dopamine, the feel-good hormone. The brain learns one simple thing very quickly. This feels good. I want more. Screen gives instant pleasure. No waiting, no effort. This creates an addiction-like effect in the brain as it keeps asking for more and more. Just stop for a second and look around you. What is happening right now? Nothing is so colorful. Nothing is moving very fast. There is no loud music. This is real life. Now think about the screen. Bright colors, fast movements, music, sounds. Everything keeps changing every second. Look at what our children watch today. Cocomelon, reels, short videos. Everything is fast, everything is colorful, everything is exciting. Now compare that with a real life, like reading a book, playing with blocks, listening when someone is talking, waiting for the turn. Real life is slow. So when a child's brain gets used to fast screens, real life starts feeling boring to them. That's why slowly children stop showing interest in normal everyday activities. And when the screen is taken away, the reaction comes out. But in one more pattern most parents don't notice at first. Whenever a child feels upset, bored or irritated, the screen makes them feel better immediately. So slowly the child's brain learns one thing. When you don't feel good, I need a screen. Next time the child hears a no or has to wait or doesn't get what they want, they don't know what to do with that feeling. That's when parents start seeing anger, crying and big meltdowns. Now think about the daily life at home. Phone while feeding, TV during meals, videos to fall asleep. Slowly every routine gets connected to screen. So when the screen is not given, the child doesn't know how to calm themselves. That's how screen dependency starts building very quickly. Too much screen time also affects how children connect with people. Some children stop looking at faces properly. They don't enjoy talking. They prefer watching instead of interacting. After the pandemic, we are seeing this more and more. Some people call this virtual autism. What they usually mean is autism-like features. That is, the behaviors that look similar to autism, like less interaction, emotional withdrawal, poor attention. These patterns are often seen when screens replace real human connection. This is what we often see when screens slowly replace real people. Children watch more, they interact less. And over time, social skills don't develop the way they should. Now let's talk about what parents can actually do. Not big changes, very practical things. First, explain and don't just restrict. Most of the time we suddenly say, enough screen, give the phone. The child doesn't understand why. Instead, explain in simple words. Too much screen makes your brain tired. That's why you're feeling very angry now. Your brain also needs rest. You don't have to say it perfectly. Just say it calmly again and again. When children understand the reason, cooperation slowly improves. Second, replace. Don't just remove. If you remove the phone and walk away, the child feels lost. So initially, when you reduce screen time, replace it with connection. Sit with them, talk to them, play something small. Even chatting helps. This doesn't have to be for long. Just 10 minutes of full attention is enough. Connection first, independence comes later. Third, allow boredom. These days, we don't allow boredom at all. The moment a child says, I'm bored, we give the phone. But boredom is not bad. That's where imagination starts, creativity starts, emotional strength develops. Children learn to find something to do on their own. So don't rush to fix the boredom. The fourth, be consistent. One day, no screen. Next day, screen because we are tired. Children get confused. So whatever rule you decide, follow it for weeks together. Consistency helps the child's brain adjust. Fifth, model the change. Children watch us closely. If we are bored and scrolling, they learn scrolling. If we are frustrated and go to the phone, they learn that too. If we want children to learn life beyond screens, they need to see us doing that. Phones are part of life, but they shouldn't be the only way to cope. So remember this, we don't just remove screens, we replace them with connection. We don't control the behavior, we teach regulation. This doesn't change in one day. But with small, consistent steps, children slowly learn there is life beyond screen. If this video made you pause and think, that awareness itself is important. If it helped you, please like, share and subscribe and send this to one parent who might be struggling silently. Because when parents understand, children transform.